Hey, you guys. So, I'm here today to share a story about why I was able to, I believe, um, take a different approach at learning Japanese than my classmates back when I was in high school, and how that affected me actually learning the language effectively and kind of effortlessly. So, the story begins when I was invited to a friend of mine's house. She was in my history um, class, and she came from Korea. Amazing person. And she told me a story that was actually very sad and kind of heartbreaking. And I wanted to share that because I think that because I was exposed to this story, it really made me look at language learning differently. And I want to share this story with people who actually do want to learn the language and who actually, maybe they're taking a class, maybe you're, getting into it, and maybe you're bogged down by, procedures or politics, classroom politics, the grades, whatever, right? Anyways, back to the story. Um, so I got to talking to my friend, and she told me that back when she was in Korea, she really, really, really looked forward to coming to America. There was just so many good things that she wanted to experience, so many things that she was looking forward to. Her eyes lit up as she told me, like just how excited she was. It was awesome. Um, and then she ended up coming to America. And what ended up happening was kind of like, again, heartbreaking to hear. Back then, at that point, her English was not good. And when she went to school and she tried to talk, you know, people, couldn't understand her. They made fun of her, they laughed at her. And that day she went back home and she just cried. She cried. That wasn't even the worst part about it. You might think that's already like really terrible, but that's not the worst thing about it. The worst thing about it is she told me that back when she was in Korea, she had a completely different personality. She was more outgoing, she always smiled, she was laughing, she was more adventurous. But when she went to America, and after experiencing that event, her personality and her spirit completely changed. It's like she became a different person. So instead of being outgoing, instead of, really, going out there, being social, enjoying life and stuff, she kind of, shut herself in, and her life completely changed. Her personality changed. Her soul changed. And I could sense that when I was in her place, at her place. It was very kind of just, kind of like, kind of sad, kind of just lonely, desolate. Um, and, that was something that was really, really, powerful to me, is hearing that story, hearing how it was for her. And you could blame it on perhaps the people who laughed at her, sure. Maybe an unaccepting society of sorts, sure. But the way that I looked at it was that, you know, since I was taking Japanese at the time, and I knew I was going to go to Japan. I knew I wanted to go to Japan. I looked at her story and I said, if I'm going to go to Japan, there is no way in hell that I'm going to get to the point where I change myself. Where because I don't know the language, I'm going to change how I am. I change my personality. I change my spirit, my attitude about life, my abilities, everything. At that point, the only reason why I learned Japanese from that point, and I ended up getting really good grades easily, is because I had that in mind. It's like, it's not for the grade, and it's not even for to meet a quota of sorts. It's the fact that if I go to Japan, if I'm going to interact with people, if I'm going to actually go there, I want to be who I am. I want to be able to talk to people like how I talk to my friends here. I want to be able to understand people and reply back to them and still be myself. Because I realized that without knowing the language, it makes you powerless. And that's what happened to my friend. She was completely powerless. She was not able to communicate. She was not able to even express her sadness or her anger, or anything. And it changed her, And nobody got to really know who she was. And the person that I met and who I worked with on the project, I still remember her as a girl that was sad, and was defeated in many ways. And I don't know if she's out there right now. I don't know if she, might even be listening to this. I have no idea. But I hope only the best for her. I hope she's okay where she's at. You will know who you are if you watch this video. But in any case, though, that's my case in terms of like me really thinking about learning the language differently. Because if you want to learn a language and if you want to be good at it, I think the most important thing is to be able to function how you normally function around people. When you're angry, you let people know that you're angry. When you're being funny, when you're kind of, being sarcastic, when you want to kind of like, I don't know, even flirt a little bit or something, being able to do that. I think that's super, super important. You have to be yourself. And in order to do that, when you learn language, you have to really internalize it. You have to make it a part of yourself. It cannot be the other language. It has to be you. It has to be a part of you, And my Japanese right now, I mean, like, honestly, if I were to be completely honest, I don't sound like a native speaker. I can tell you that right now. But I can tell you one thing. If I wanted to get a message across to you in Japanese, you would know what I'm feeling. 本当に本当に気持ち本当になんだか感動されるね感動される You'll be moved, right? And that's the first step. I think the first step is being able to truly communicate who you are as a person. Not just communicate words or ideas, but can you be yourself? And when people talk to you, can you understand who they are? Can you understand who they are themselves, right? That is the most important thing, because I'll tell you everything else, it's not as important. It's just being able to be yourself, have what you need so that you can communicate that and to keep going. Now, if you want a good grade, if you want to please your teachers or your tutors or your sensei, and you want to learn a bunch of words or whatever, then that's fine. But I'll tell you, you can do this. You can have this in mind, and it'll make it even better for you. It'll make it even better. Just know that language is all about being able to go to a completely different country, a completely different world, and to be able to still be yourself, even though in ordinary circumstances or situations, you wouldn't be able to. And it opens up a whole new world, a whole new lifestyle and everything. When I finally went to Japan after graduation in high school, what ended up happening was that I was able to really laugh and, enjoy and have a great time and party and get know people, get to really know people and experience the culture, because that's what it's about. Especially if you're going out, you're learning a language, you want to go to a new country, you want to make sure that you can do that. So never forget, that the most important thing about language is being able to continue being yourself, like as you are now, like wherever you live, but place that into a new place. And now you can test yourself in that new country or society. So that's my advice for all people who want to learn Japanese, who want to learn a different language. It doesn't have to be Japanese, you know, and to just kick butt with it. Go for it, you know. So thank you for listening. I hope this helps, and maybe there'll be more videos later on, you know. I'm gonna try to put more videos on. So have a good one, and I'll see you guys later.